Uh, the academy is February. Doesn't matter whether or not you sought to be a Bible teacher, because the Bible was meant to do what? The doctrine today. All right. We all should understand the Bible at the minimum on how to instruct their families to understand the true narrative of the Bible. Theologian school or any place you can get your week off. So, uh, the academy is February 6th. February 6th is the date of the Hebrew and Bible Academy. Not this Saturday, but next Saturday. Okay? You can always go to historytimes.org. We're taking enrollments now. And these classes are greater than any theologian school or any place you can go to learn about God or the Bible. And it doesn't matter your education level. It doesn't matter whether or not you sought to be a Bible teacher, because the Bible was meant to do what? To teach a standard. It wasn't meant that only a few people should know the Bible to teach everyone else. Everyone should know the Word of God and the doctrine it has, the strong content on how to instruct their families to understand the true narrative of the Bible. Okay? The fall of a nation with that prophetic rising of a people as we see today. All right? We all should understand the Bible at the minimum from its historical value. Okay, to us. Its historical value to us because we're the same people the God of Israel saved out of Egypt. We're those same people. And that same narrative has taken place again. Okay, so one thing I like about the Hebrew and Bible Academy, it doesn't matter what level of education, what you sought out to do, or believe it or not, it'll answer many questions brothers and sisters has always had concerning the Bible and God. Personal questions. To give a logical reason to the world we're in today. Because without the knowledge of God and not being able to make sense of this world, that could drive people mad. A lot of people have gone crazy because they don't realize why God is allowing this. Okay? But the Hebrew and Bible Academy will actually give you the proper perspective it's in today. And I made sure. Now, folks, theologian seminary and all these things, it costs. Okay, a lot of to get the books and all these things. The Catholic Church and the apologetics makes hands over fists and finances from our people in the ghettos setting up churches, having to go to them to learn the correct, well, what they would teach or claim is the correct exegesis of the Bible. They're liars. Our people pay all this money to go to a theologian school, to come in a neighborhood, come into our communities, only to push the lies that continue to erode or destroy our communities. The proof of that, we have a church on almost every corner of our neighborhoods. And it isn't getting better. It has gotten exponentially worse. So at least with the Hebrew and Bible Academy from the beginning, we had to make sure we kept the academy at a price our people can afford. $50 a month. Okay? That's about $1 and some change a day for 3 months. All right? So I made sure that even though it costs to do it, administration and everything else, and what we do to put this together, I made sure that since the first day we did the academy, it never went up on price, regardless of how much it cost us on this end. Okay? I'm keeping it at the same rate. Doesn't matter how much knowledge and how many more books we get and how much more the Most High expounds. we'll keep it at that price, knowing the conditions of our people to come in and only to erode our communities even worse. Okay. So you can go to historytimes.org. And as you see, we have brand new in-depth lessons on finding the Ark of the Covenant. I know a lot of you have seen Raiders of the Lost Ark and don't understand the history behind the Ark of the Covenant, but it's a machine. It's a heavenly machine that once these empires fall, that will be presented by our God back to us. We will get this holy machine, okay? This clean weapon that if any nation attempt to come against us, automatically the heavens work. The angels work with this Ark of the Covenant to destroy our enemies, go into war without losing one man. Without losing one man in war. Once the Most High revealed this back to us, and it was prophesied that he would give this back to us in the wilderness, and I'm going to be talking about that. The gates of hell. When souls leave the body, exactly what's the destination? Where do they go? Okay, you're going to find there's gates that lead into the earth at birth, and there's an exit point that the same spirits God sent. He has an exit point with an angel that guides us into habitations. We're going to be talking about that, the visible and the invisible, the interaction between the celestial, the interactions with the celestial and us, how it's intertwined. We're in a world believing we are alone, believing that, all things are relative and we're just here and we disappear without any knowledge of everyday interaction with the spiritual world. I'm talking about angels. I'm going to be talking about that when I break down the gates of hell, portals. A matter of fact, NASA in 2012 found all the entry and exit points of the earth called gates or portals. This is science. Now, why are they looking for portals in the earth? Hey, that will be discussed when we drop in the Hebrew Bible Academy, tracing the serpent seed. We're going to also talk about Israel's tribulation in the wilderness, which is a powerful lesson, plus more in-depth lessons on marriage and family. Can it survive? You don't want to miss that. Okay. Now, I'm going to be there regardless, right? I'm teaching. Elder Lawyer is going to be there. He's going to do what he does with the Hebrew and whatever. And he does a great job with introducing that to us, as well as Shapat coming in during the news segment, one of the best informative news segments you can find on earth, where we'll take a regular news article and let you know the sinister plot behind most of what they tell you. No news is reported by chance. It's to progress an agenda against mankind. And we're going to talk about that and more in the Academy with Shapat in our news. Okay. So if this interests you, if you're interested in it, keep in mind, it's $50 a month. It breaks down to $150, but we made it where it's 2 small payments at the same price. $75 to get in, and it's $75 at the second month, and the third month it's all covered. Okay, $75 entry, $75 the second month, and you're covered for the third month. You can just sit back and just get the information. It's quite that simple. Okay, so I hope to see you in the Hebrew and Bible Academy February 6th. Okay, had to correct that date, February 6th. All right. All right. One other thing I wanted to announce real quick is that our calendar pre-order is up for the Gathering of Christ Church. You go to gatheringofchristchurch.org and you can order your GOCC 2022 Hebrew calendar. And this theme is the 10 Commandments. The theme on this one is the 10 Commandments, as you can see. Okay. As you can see. All right. So if this interests you, to get the right times according to the holy days of the Bible, you go to gatheredofchrist.org. You'll see pre-order for calendars. Click on that and get yours. It's absolutely outstanding. All right. So, Elder Lawyer.
Yes, sir. Shalom.
How are you, Elder Lawyer?
I'm well. I'm well. Yourself?
I'm blessed by the best. Now, here we go, and his name is Ahiah. Again, February 6th, go to historytimes.org and enroll. Elder Lawyer, you see the topic we have in store for the brother. Is God allowing this?
Yes,
right?
sir.
And that's a question. Isaiah 45, real quick. Whole Isaiah 45. What happens is, once we're past that childhood stage, there's a quest to find purpose. And usually that purpose for our lives is rooted in the core beliefs growing up throughout church, knowing that there is a God. So if there's a God, he has a purpose for me. And we go throughout life to try to find that purpose. But some people are confused or altogether get discouraged. Why? Because they witness how immoral people can be and how evil the earth have become. So that confuses people. If God has a purpose for me in this world, why does he make it so hard? I'm a good person. I want to do what I need to do. And here it is. Look at our neighborhoods. What God would allow this? Look at our people struggling opposed to other races of people. What God, and I touched on this a couple of weeks ago, but now this is like a continuation from last Saturday. Why is he allowing this? Well, those answers and more will be answered in this particular lesson. And it turns brothers and sisters numb. They become numb. They become complacent. They become, like the Bible says, reprobates, believing that there is no God. Look at the earth. Why is God allowing the wickedness? Elder Lawyer, let's go now.
Yes, sir.
I need you to read Isaiah 45 and 7.
Isaiah 45, verse 7. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things.
Now, understand that there's a creator, okay? An intelligence beyond intelligence above everything, whom most people call God. Now, he created the celestial. Now, I go into this in more detail, tracing the serpent seed. But in a nutshell, he created all of the celestial, which are angels. And keep in mind, brothers and sisters, in him creating the angels, he also created in heaven free will. A plan. Free will starting with the angels all the way to the degree in where the earth would be made. Now, through this process of creating the angels who would have free will, even to come against him, there was a grand design that would actually have man go through a process of time that would do what? Try him like gold, or try her like gold, where she would come out with all the experiences of time perfect. He or she would come out perfect in preparation for the world the Most High intended for us. Okay? What happens when you just give a child something without work, without effort? They tend not to appreciate it. So he created all of these dynamics to show those who really claim they love him worthy. Understand what I'm telling you here. He created it all. Even the bad stuff that would happen, he knew Lucifer would turn against him. But that bad element had to be created so that his children on earth, us, our people, would choose good over evil. And through that choosing, be worthy of what he has for us, what he have on the back end of this. Now, unfortunate for us, folks, our people, those who believe in God, Israelites and Gentiles, fortunate for us, we're at the end of it. We're close. But there's an unfortunate part of this. The closer we get to salvation, the closer we get to what he had prepared for us from the beginning, the tougher things will become. We're in a trial. We're being tried. It's making it past that time. What time? I'm going to talk about it. Get your Bibles together. So understand, the Most High made it all, even the disobedient that would fall and disobey him to create all this chaos we see in earth. But he had a plan. He's letting the evil operate for a time. And above all, he's also watching the patience of the righteous. Who claimed that they believed in me? Who said that they loved and believed in me in the past? Whose faith has waned? They claim they love me and they have turned their back on me. Who are those? Right? So, the Bible says, as in the days of Noah, then shall the coming of the Son of Man be. Let's go back to the days of Noah. Why? Why is God allowing this? Do me a favor. Y'all doing a great job, but please, if you can, I really appreciate it. Just hit the like button if you can, okay? Real quick. All right. Elder Lawyer, let's go. Genesis 6. Why is God doing this? Why is he allowing wickedness? Why? Why is he allowing innocent children, folks, to be preyed upon in these hospitals when they're born and assailed and all that, to try to put solutions and all that in people? Why is he allowing this crackpot science to destroy mankind? You're going to find out. You're going to know today. First and foremost, in heaven there was a standard. And brothers and sisters, the Most High gave the whole earth a standard. So that this world, so that people at the end of it could not blame him. The evil is there. To choose good or the evil present. But understand, the standard. And I'm going to talk about that standard in a moment. So what? That means man made a conscious choice. Man made a conscious choice. And then at the end of the conscious choice, making mistake after mistake against God, we're praying that he comes together in the back end and fix all what we broke consciously. And then say, well, what's going on with the world? What's going on with God? When he set a standard for us to follow, a standard people consciously broke. And then at the end of the day, he's the blame. And we're going to talk about that standard so no one is without excuse today. We're going to discuss that standard. Elder Lawyer, let's go to the beginning, because I have to go here, because this is where the Most High God, Ahia is his name. This is where he decided before the flood to destroy the earth. This is where it is. And Christ said, as in the days of Noah, then shall the coming of the Son of Man be. To go back to Noah's time to understand when evil is at the height, to the degree where the evil is destroying humanity in uncontrollable numbers. It's time. So God gave us what? He gave us a time stamp. That time stamp is how long he will allow what we're seeing to go on, until those who taught mankind the evil are judged. Man didn't create the evil. Man followed the evil. The fallen one, Lucifer, Satan, demons, principalities that control this earth and have set up Babylonian governments. Man are like children. All of creation, let me tell you, anything that you see that progressed our civilization came from the fallen ones. And they'll say, well, this inventor, Tesla did this. Benjamin Franklin did that. No, folks. Every part of all technology since the beginning was given to mankind. Steve Jobs didn't create Apple. Okay. I touched on that in the academy to show you where Steve Jobs went. Where he went in India to sit with the shaman who would open up gates to give him information. Okay? So the more technology, the more access we get to freedom, the worse mankind becomes. To a degree where the Most High will say at one point, it's time. And at that time, the angels will enter this realm all at once. Every eye shall see. Elder Lawyer, let's get Genesis 6 and 4. Let's read it.
Yes, sir. Genesis chapter 6, verse 4. There were giants in the earth in those days.
Before, let's go to 6 and 1.
6 and 1?
Yes.
Genesis 6 and 1. And it came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose.
They took them wives of all that they chose. This is talking about the celestial. It's not talking about people on earth. The Catholic Church tried to cover the truth of the evil that came into the earth by claiming that this is the sons of Seth dealing or marrying the daughters of Cain. Well, that's a lie, because there was no law against that. There's no law against the sons of Seth dealing with the daughters of Cain. So they try to hide the fact that these were beings that came into the earth and caused chaos. These are the same gods the Catholic Church till this day burn candles to. The old gods before the flood are who the Catholics truly serve. They're not saints. They're spirits. The spirits that gives them ingenuity, technology, and insight on how to oppose God's people in the earth or to oppress us, knowing that we were born to judge them. So there's two sides. Those who were born to go through the trials and be made like pure gold, to see things for what it is, to be a judge at the end of this. And those who would choose the technology and the ingenuity and the imagination that was taught before the flood by fallen gods. And they would actually take that side against us. I know this sounds like something out of some far sci-fi, but no, that's what it is, folks. So when we see the struggle that our people are going through, we cannot see it like this earth would like us to experience it or see it and be depressed and, oh, woe is me, why everyone else? Nah, this experience is giving us the power to judge, to understand the struggle, to understand what it is to live in substandard scenarios and see everything from a vantage point that most could never understand. Why do you think the Most High have taken us through all these trials and tribulations as a people, generation as a generation? Because that's the experience we'll need at the end of this, not only to help others out of it, but to judge those who caused it. But to judge those who caused it. Finish reading, Elder Lawyer, if you don't mind.
Yes, sir. Genesis chapter 6, verse 3. And the Lord said, My spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he is also flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years.
Now, this is the piece that confused people to make people believe it's talking about man going rogue, man bad. He's going to lower the days of mankind's life expectancy. Nah, this is not what that's talking about. This is talking about years of jubilees. It's talking about a judgment on those who taught mankind evil. And through that evil, it led to all types of chaos to a degree where the Most High had to flood the earth. They began to make dinosaurs, Tyrannosaurus rexes. They began to make giant animals to feed the giants or Nephilim that came from the celestial and whom they would deem mortals. I mean, this is not just a Bible narrative. You can find this in secular or other Gentile history. I mean, the Epic of Gilgamesh speaks of this from the Nephilims or the giants' viewpoint. Technology comes with what? A trade-off. How it's no different. It's not talking about life expectancy. That's talking about 120 jubilees from the time. 120 jubilees. A jubilee, according to the Bible, is 50. 7 Sabbaths and then the extra day like the Passover. You got the Passover, you count 7 Sabbaths, you're in first fruits, 50. Okay? You had seven Sabbaths before we went into the Holy Land. And then Moses went to Mount Horeb to see the land. And we crossed in over Jordan into Israel, brothers and sisters, on the 50th year. A generation is 50. So you take that 120, you multiply that by 50, and that give you a time stamp the Most High have given before the judgment, that mankind must do what? Go through life and understand their purpose according to God with a standard. 120 times 50 is 6,000 years. It took that amount of time from the beginning of creation, the beginning of time being created, because the Most High is not subjected to it. The heavenly realm isn't subjected to our time. They come into our time once they what? Come through the gates into this earth. The heavenly realm, and when we die, and when we're in the spiritual realm is not subjected to our time and space. Time was meant for a judgment. It was meant for what? An appointment. So we're talking about 6,000 years, because it took 6,000 before man was made and had that choice. He would have rested if Adam and Eve would have partook of that tree of life. But because he chose the tree of good and evil, and we're going to show you who introduced that choice, those spirits are still giving mankind choices today. I'm going to tell you right now, at the end of that 6,000th, it would take, don't forget, because Adam partook of the tree of good and evil and not the tree of life, it would have to take another 6,000 years for man to be made as God intended. Now, this is the man that's worthy for what? The tree of life, the kingdom to come. So our life experiences and or choices, like Adam and Eve's, determine whether or not an individual is worthy of that reward. But then it comes down to, do you really believe? Do you believe in God? Because you can't say you believe in him and not find your purpose in him. Okay? You can feel and try to tell others. But no one really truly believes in God unless they find a purpose in him. That's when he becomes real in your life. That's when you understand the power that works on the outside of you. I guess that's a true meaning of a true relationship with God. So, Elder Lawyer,
Yes, sir.
I don't know if you want to say anything on that. Are you good or?
No, sir.
All right, great. Let's go to standard, because the Most High he's not going to judge someone. He will never judge a person without first, and I'm talking about the consequential side of things, consequences. Without people understanding there's a standard. Now, let me make it clear. The earth will not last. Babylon will not last, because they have gone off from the standard. The balances have been tilted to evil without any pushback from those who believe in God. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to tell you, folks, it was at one time, folks. It was at one time that there was more good people and those who fear God than bad. So when people started to follow the ways of evil and tilted the balance to evil, that's when the Most High said, speed up the time. It's time to speed it up, because they don't understand that they're on a suicidal trajectory. And if I don't give them less time than what was given, they would kill themselves. And I'm not going to allow these people who are making conscious choices against me to kill my righteous that are left for me. I'm not going to allow it. And that's why Christ said, what, in Matthew 24? When you go down to 13 through 22, it says, if he didn't cut that time short, that 6,000 years, no flesh would be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. People are on a suicidal trajectory, and they don't care who die in its wake. And that's where we are with this inoculation and what's going on in the earth. Everyone is talking about what the government is talking about, the cold, whether or not you have a disease, and no one is talking about God's hand in any of this. He's allowing people who don't know him, who decided consciously to walk away from him, he's allowing them to operate and kill each other. Standard. Let's go, Elder Lawyer.
Yes, sir. Genesis 6 and 4.
Let's start it.
There were giants in the...
Okay. I need you to go now to Deuteronomy. Matter of fact, finish reading that. There were giants in the earth in that day.
Yes, sir. Verse 4. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare to them children, and the same became mighty men which were of old, men of renown.
Men of renown, giants, Nephilim. Folks, these are not people. There was no place in the earth for these particular beings. So once they died off, once they die, their spirits must roam in the earth before judgment. And what are those spirits today? What do we call those spirits? Demons. What we're talking about is the origin of demons that attack mankind. That's where demons come from. But just like people, brothers and sisters, when the Most High says, put on the full armor of God. Now, is it physical armor he's talking about? Faith, hope, and all the other things he talks about, the love factor. And have our breastplates. This is what he's talking about is what? Armor for war, not physical armor. To let you know, folks, that the unseen seeks ways into you, invisible ways into you. But the access for these demons to get through is usually sin. Sin or a confession publicly telling them that they are allowed to utilize you. Now, witches and warlocks just say it straight out. They do all types of things and bring things into their presence. And with that agreement, their life will begin to change. Okay? But understand who you're making an agreement with. And understand that what? Something takes possession of a part of your soul. And this is what these Nephilim does. Are they permanent? No, they're not permanent. When you recognize the sin in you and the things you're doing wrong, and there's a conscience against it, you're battling against that spirit who's using your body. It's taking hold That spirit of taking hold of that original sin that started with Adam to help you choose evil even when good is present. Okay, that's how it works. That's how it works. So when people talk about demon possession, exorcism, and see, and this is why most people don't believe that demon possession is really happening to the people. That's really happening. Folks, you know why? Because they gave us the extreme through the Exodus. That when there's a demon possession, it's someone with spitting out green stuff, their head is turning around. But no, demons, folks, have many characters. And the most powerful demons are the subtle ones. Why? They don't want you to recognize they're there, or you will seek to rid them. You would seek to rid them. So what are they? They're demons. Where did they come from? They came from the Nephilim, who had no place in habitations or in heaven because they were made outside of the normal process of man and woman. There's a place for our spirits because the Most High sends our spirits. We had a place with the Most High from the beginning. Every soul on earth was with the Most High from the beginning and has a purpose on earth. And there's an exit point for all those spirits because it was intended for them for the beginning. But these spirits, Nephilim demon, there was no place for them. So that's why they roam the earth looking for a person that's subjected to sin so that they can take hold. And I'm going to tell you right now, the pharmaceutical apparatus is set up so that these spirits can take hold of a body with very... I'm going to tell you that right now. Finish reading, Elder Lawyer.
Yes, sir.
20, Deuteronomy, Deuteronomy 6. So let's talk about the standard.
Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse number 1.
Now, when our people
now
came...
these are the...
Hold up, Elder Lawyer. When our people came... I know there's a little delay because we're here on I have you here remote today because of the snow. But go ahead. I need you, Elder Lawyer. Do us a favor, folks. We need you to hit more likes if you can. I really appreciate it. All right. But go ahead, Elder Lawyer. Let's read. When we came, the Most High told us, don't do as we learned in under the Egyptians. The Egyptians were pagan. They were traditionalists, but they're moral. They didn't have no moral standard. Okay. Anything went. And I'm talking about bestiality, same-sex interactions, and all these things. Of course, there was people who were just having a family and that didn't go to the other side of the Nile. No pun intended. Okay. But all in all, our God said, you see what we witnessed in Egypt? We are moral people. We're not like them. Here's a standard. And with this standard would make Israel a special people, a different people, a people worthy of protection from on high. See? So he says, I'm going to give you a standard. And all the people who come in presence of you and your family will learn those standards. Israelites were born to not only just teach the world, but at the end of it, to judge it. So the Most High just didn't give us a law. Thou shalt not do this and thou shalt not do that strictly for, and it benefits us personally. It's a standard that does what? Give us a higher quality of life. And it gives us security to know that the Most High will protect and guide our children who will teach these same standards to their children. See? So he not only gave it to us on a personal level, There was a global understanding of why our people, the children of Israel, would have the law, that he would send Christ. So that eventually, at the end of that law we've upheld in our lives, we would use that law to judge the evil that caused the chaos on our families. Not just the visible, the invisible also. So let's read some of this standard that our people once had. Elder here, and thank you all for your presence on this Sabbath. I hope you all are safe out there today. Hold on, let me get it with you, Elder Lawyer. A standard. Now, here is some of the scriptures we would read to our families on the Sabbath. Listen to this. Go ahead, Elder Lawyer.
Yes, sir. Deuteronomy 6, verse 1. Now these are the commandments, the statutes, and the judgments, which the Lord your God commanded to teach you, that ye might do them in the land whither ye go to possess it.
So he says, listen, I'm going to give you laws, a standard in the land that you've gone to, that I'm giving you as an inheritance. So I'm not just letting y'all go willy-nilly up into my land without rules. Folks, when the colonizers came to America, they came with a standard. Regardless of what people might say about doctrine, the standard in America at one point was the Judeo-Christian morals and laws from the Holy Bible. That's why the Most High allowed them to do what they were doing, because it was establishing a book that would one day be given back to its people. So that means everyone went to church and everyone had a fear of God, a conscience towards God. And really, when it came to that scale I talked about earlier, that scale, it was more so tipped towards good, family values, traditions. Now, were they following every part of the Bible? No. But it was a conscience towards God when the Gentiles came here with our record, the Bible. So in order for them to establish this country, Babylon or America, or whatever place they colonized, they had to go in with the standard. That ain't something that was created by the Roman Empire and white people strategically thinking about. No. They read our record and understood that if they were going to go into a country, they would need the power of the God who set up a standard for his people going into Israel. They had to come with a standard. The question, brothers and sisters, are they following that standard now? So this is why I'm going to talk about why God is allowing all this to happen. Because at the end of this, I'm going to show you. The white man and the other nations, when they come over here, they know better. They knew better. They knew we were the children of Israel. They knew one day we would find out. It didn't stop them from bringing the Bible. Why? Because a standard had to be established that they know all people could cleave to for some level of order. You cannot set up a new civilization without a standard. Whether you believe it's true or not, okay? A standard must be set. If you're seeking all civilizations of people that you're conquering and people coming over to live morally and safely amongst one another, a standard must be set that they would come into. Well, the Judeo principles of the Bible was that. So the Most High gave us that going into Israel. He says, listen, I'll give you the land, but it comes with a standard. Let's talk about it.
Yes, sir. Deuteronomy 6, verse 2.
Come on.
That thou made that thou mightest fear the Lord thy God, to keep all his statutes and his commandments, which I command thee,
Fear
thou
who?
and thy son and thy, that thou mightest fear the Lord thy God, to keep his commandments and all his statutes, or all his statutes and his commandments, which I command thee,
Now,
that thou and thy son.
now I know there's some feedback there, or there's some delay, Elder Lawyer. It's fine. I understand. But it says right here, brothers, fear our God. Now, this is a good fear. Now, do we fear the virus today more than God in this earth? In number. How many people fear God more than the virus they're talking about on the news today? To show you how far we have left the standard of understanding who God is. Okay? Our people just witnessed in the Bible our God parting the Reed Sea, destroying Pharaoh and his army in it. They seen the pillar of cloud at night, directing our people. Folks, I even showed in the academy the rock of Horeb, where the Most High had, when Moses struck the rock and the water gushed out. That's archaeological proof. It happened. It's still there. So when the Most High said, fear God, it's like, understand what I just did to those people who were disobedient, reprobate heathens who refused to let you go. They had real-time evidence of why you should fear that God. Brothers and sisters, that God still exists. Our educational system and all that have disconnected us purposely from understanding the God all man should fear, not just Israelites. And this is why I can look at their little code or whatever they say and going to happen. And I'm not sitting in my corner, oh my God, what's going to happen? Because I know the God who delivered us out of Egypt. I know the God who sent his son. And I know he's with us. That's the true fear that one must have to understand the power of our God. If you think what he did to Egypt was something, wait and see. And our people are going to what? We're going to be preserved through it. So the first thing he said is, understand that what I did in the back, in the back of us, in the wilderness, what I did to the Egyptians, understand that those who cross me will be on the other side of this judgment. So he said, I'm going to set up a standard. So Israelites, there's no excuse, Israel. I did everything for you. Fear me, because when you cross over to the Gentiles and follow their ways, eventually you will experience the judgment I have against them in the future. You will fall with those other nations. And it's not and the Most High says, it's not my fault. I gave you a standard. You get with these heathens who celebrate pagan traditions, these heathens who deal with New Age philosophy, these Buddhists and all that. You get with these same people who worship the fallen gods within the earth. Eventually, you're siding with gods against the God who delivered our forefathers. So guess what? There's a judgment. What judgment? The judgment we're living under. Because all the gods you are serving in the earth are telling the people to drink. It's time. You're on a suicidal trajectory. Okay. All praises be to the Most High. We're back. I know y'all probably would believe it, but the whole thing went, a blue screen popped up and the computer was gone. So we know how that works. But I'm glad through the spirit of the Most High, brothers and sisters, we were able to get through the majority of the lesson. Well, really all of it. It's time. You're on a suicidal trajectory. Drink the juice. And the Most High is allowing it. There's no God warning us from what modern medicine is doing to the earth right now. And I'm going to show you where I'm going. Finish reading.
Yes, sir. Verse 2. That thou mightest fear the Lord thy God, to keep all his statutes and his commandments, which I command thee, thou and thy son's son, all the days of thy life, and that thy days may be prolonged.
That thy days may be prolonged. So he says, listen, parents, we're responsible for making sure what? This agreement stays intact. That means if one day I'm gone, my sons will be instilling this in their children. That's our responsibility when our children go out into the world. They must have conscious knowledge of the God and appreciate the God who delivered our foreparents and who has delivered our people in this time through Christ with the true knowledge. With that true knowledge that and appreciate it. Just listen, fear me. Make sure your children know who I am. Don't let them go someplace and forget about me. Finish.
Yes, sir. Verse 3. Hear therefore, O Israel, and observe to do it, that it may be well with thee, and that ye may increase mightily, as the Lord God of thy fathers hath promised thee, and the land that floweth with milk and honey.
Come on.
Verse 4. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one.
The Lord our God is one. Are we one with our God? Boy, what if we were one with our God, like the European is with his? What brothers and sisters, if we were one with our God, like the Chinese people are with their whole country worships the dragon outright. Man. And we're being religiously torn apart, divided, not realizing that all of these nations have targeted us. Has targeted us with their lesser religions. Only because they know what happens when we come together as a people. We lost our history. They didn't lose our history. When we came together as a people, and our God the Bible was with us. And guess what? All of these wars are recorded in secular history, even in Gentile history, against the Israelites. Imagine you put the Jamaicans, the Dominicans today, blacks, the Puerto Ricans, the North American Indians, the Seminole Indians. Imagine all the West Indies, all our people in Africa, Imagine if you were to put us all together under one mind, one spirit, one God. What army in the earth could oppose us? So don't forget, it's in the interest of the world powers to keep us divided, knowing that the history of what happened to their forefathers when our people understood there was one God and we were one under that God. So it's in their interest to keep us divided and thinking and making us believe we have this higher knowledge by going into Egyptology and black science and this, that, and the other. It's in the Gentiles' interest because why? Why? They didn't forget our history. As long as we don't come back under the standard that was destroying their forefathers and had them fear us like we once feared our God. Come on.
Verse 5. And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thine heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy might.
Look at that.
And these were...
You should love your God with what, Elder Lawyer?
With all thine heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy might.
And with all thine might. Love thy God. Now, if we know our God and love our God, that alone, brothers and sisters, will give us a higher appreciation for one another. The patience he had when we did wrong, the forgiveness, he continued to forgive us regardless of what we do in the earth, as long as we're willing in a contrite spirit to come back and say we're sorry for what we've done. He continually receives us. Imagine if we had that same love amongst one another and not find a way to continue just to cut off relationships and to not speak to people. And listen, there's a bigger standard here. The togetherness and what God wants from us is bigger than our personal pet peeves and offenses or offenses. When we say the Lord our God is one, it's like, well, okay, it's time for us to take that same love he had for us and the standard he had for us and use it for one another. For good. Use that same love and being one and saying, you know what? I'm not going to hold a grudge. You did me wrong. Now I'm not going to put you in a position to do that to me again. That's foolish. But I can forgive you. I can honestly forgive you. Okay? Without holding a grudge, without cutting you off forever. Right? So that love extends not just with us understanding our God who gave us the commandments, but the laws of civility that he's given us to do what? To live one amongst another. At one time, all of the other nations envied the love we had one for another. Come on.
Yes, sir. Verse 6. And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thine heart, and thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up.
That means what? It says right here, thou shalt diligently teach it, 7th verse, unto thy children, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house. This is what we owe our children, to know about this great God. And when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up, remember me. I'm protecting you. The invisible is with you, guiding you. He's there. And how many of us can honestly say at least once a day, not even 3 times a day, we take a little space, even in the bathroom to ourselves or something, to acknowledge and appreciate the God who gave us life. We're so busy in our lives right now, and that we prioritize God backward. It's not giving reverence to him for giving us life and breath every day first. It's fitting him in. Him being less in priority with all the other things we must do to survive. But folks, I'm going to tell you, all civilization soon will halt. All of these Babylonian cities and all that are on grids, folks. And it was meant one day. It was meant one day, folks, for all the power plants we see in the earth to stop. It was meant. It was set up that way. And if y'all don't believe me, folks, I need all of you to look up. A matter of fact, I'll do it right here for you. I'll do it right here for you. Let me show you. This is from the Library of Congress, so that brothers and sisters can't think that this is some conspiracy, okay? Why power companies build nuclear reactors on fault lines. The case of Japan. The case of Japan. How many U.S. nuclear